The Nigerian Senate has condemned in a strong term the attack in United Kingdom, pledging to support UK Parliament and its people. Senate leader Ahmed Lawal raised a point of order on the terrorist attack near the UK Parliament. To this end, the Senate called on all parliaments around the world to stand against all forms of terrorism. Similarly, the Nigerian Senate called on the United Nations to develop a more effective counter-terrorism strategy.
The Senate, as a parliament, will not relent and must indeed continue to condemn and fight terrorism in whatever shape or form it takes, irrespective of where it is targeted. The Senate recognizes the long-standing and historical ties between the Nigerian Parliament and the Westminster. The Senate reiterates our earlier call as a parliament for closer cooperation against terrorism on a global scale and the need to build synergy and partnership in this regard. The Senate knows that all parliaments across the globe must remain sacred and tainted, impenetrable by the evil hands of terrorism. The Senate further observes that the parliaments, which are the symbol of democracy, must be insulated and guarded by all against the evil hands of terrorism.
A minute's silence was observed in honor of those who lost their life during the UK attack. In his remark, the Senate President Bukola Saraki said any attack on any parliament in the world is an attack on all parliament.
Prayer 2, stand together and empathize with the Westminster and entire people of the United Kingdom in this trial. Those in favor of prayer 2 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 3, call on all houses of parliament across the globe to stand together in solidarity with the people of the United Kingdom against all forms of terrorism. Those in favor of prayer 3 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. And prayer 4, call on the United Nations to develop a more effective counter-terrorism protocol of cooperation among member nations that will create greater opportunity for information sharing, engagement and support.
Muyiwa Bamdele reporting from Abuja. The Nigerian Senate has approved 45 non-current ambassadorial nominees presented for legislative approval by President Muhammadu Buhari. Meanwhile, 2 nominees from Imo and Ondo State, Stephen Owansofo and Jacob Daudu, were rejected by the Senate based on the report of the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs. The approval was sequel to the report presented by the chairman of the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, Senator Monsura Sumano.
The committee has carefully and thoroughly screened all the nominees presented to the Senate by the President and is satisfied with qualifications, character, and the general performance of 45 out of the 47 of them. Accordingly, the committee has found the 45 nominees worthy and suitable for confirmation as ambassadors. Therefore, the committee hereby recommends 45 nominees for confirmation by the Senate as ambassadors of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, while rejecting 2 nominees, namely Honorable Justice S.A. Nsofo, retired from Imo State, and Mr. Daudu Bekele Jacob from Ondo State. The Senate is accordingly requested to advise the President, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of Federal Republic of Nigeria to further consider and renominate persons suitable for the appointment.
Senator Godswill Akpabio urged the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs to take a second look on the issue of the nominee from Imo State.
There is a lot of wisdom in age. I'm aware that some men at 89 are still producing children, and there are others at 49 who can no longer produce children. So the function of age depends on how you are. And since there is no medical report accompanying this man to show that the man will not be able to perform the functions, I believe strongly that the issue of 82 years will not be a problem. Particularly when we look at the fact that in a place like Zimbabwe, the presidential candidate of the party there, who is the current president, is 93 years old. And he's still strong. In fact, he jogs in the morning. And he's going back for presidency. So I would like to support the fact that the committee should take a second look at this and particularly find out whether there was a medical report accompanying it.
In his remarks, Senate President Bukola Saraki called for adequate funding of Nigerian foreign mission.
I congratulate our ambassadors who are going to resume offices as our leaders, our managers, and as those that will follow up on some of the different issues going on between different partners. I want to also emphasize for a lot of our non-career diplomats that we must be good examples and good ambassadors for our country. And also I do hope that on the executive side, they will take note of some of the remarks and comments regards the quality and performance of the ambassadorial designate now, regards posting them to areas where they'll be effective. And also hope that as we send the ambassadors out, the executive will also ensure that some of the outstanding payments that are due and amounts that are required to make those missions function properly are treated. I think it would be a burden to send them out there while there are still outstandings and liabilities. So I think that to be advisable as they are being posted, that government can ensure that they can clear the outstandings that are due on this mission. We wish them all the best and hope they continue to do great service to our country.
In Abuja, Muyo Bamdele reporting.
A former member of House of Representatives, Barrister Ned Nwoko, has called on federal government to rebuild her sports from the grassroots and forget about the old method of developing sports in the country. Barrister Nwoko, who made the call when members of the Royal Race Walk paid him a courtesy visit in Abuja, said government has failed in sport development.
A lot of the blacks that represent Britain are of Nigerian parents.
I think you think that our government is not doing...
Government has failed in sport development. You can quote me anywhere. Government has never developed sports in Nigeria. Those who do well do it on their own individual merits. The Onyales, the Chomas, the John Fashionos, the Celeste, they all do it on their own self-discipline, on their own commitment, not because they have had any support from the government. What do they do? If you have an Olympics in the next 4 years, they wait until a month or 2 months of Olympics to start arguing about budgets, and then who's going to control the budget, LOC and all that rubbish. No. I go to the stadium here and look at the sports facilities. We have huge sports facilities here, but never used. Nigeria can host ATPs, tennis competitions, or WTA, but there is no such focus. So, government must change the way they do things, and develop sports from very young, tender years. That is the only way we can do it.
Barrister Nwoko, while appealing to Nigerians to support and develop its local team, noted that the only way to grow sports in the country is through its support base.
Most sports they don't generate most of the revenues from sponsors. It is from patronage from supporters, the support base. We must start to develop support base for sports in Nigeria. How many of Nigerian kids today would tell you that they have membership of Enyimba or of any other football club in Nigeria? How many of them show the passion that will buy their shirts or buy whatever they use, or even follow them to their games religiously. So in Nigeria, we must start to be patriotic. But government will also have to drive this, because if the government says to the youths, okay, it's good for you to develop, to support Chelsea or support Leicester, but you must have your local team here. And it doesn't have to be football. It could be basketball. It could be in boxing. It could be in tennis. Whatever it is, whichever area you have your passion, develop that passion, support, and that can be done.
Leader of the group, Otimba Adebayo, while commending him on his interest in sports development, called on others to do likewise.
This thing can actually be developed to put Nigeria in the global eye. Instead of us just complaining, this country is not good, this country, there are a lot of potentials. Our youth have a lot of energies. They are very intelligent people who has a lot of ideas in their heads, but a lot of anger in their hearts too, because nothing to do. And because of that, none of us is really safe. So this is why we have put ourselves together to organize it. We have gone miles already.
According to the former member of the House of Representatives, plans are on the way to establish a sports university in Nigeria. In Abuja, LM Chugwambuka reports.
Hi, Mike.
Babe, it's been over 12 hours. Are you done thinking about it?
Is the answer yes? Convince me.
I know how much confidence that'll mean to you. Let me take you somewhere.
What's that?
A superior leading international hospitality chain in the heart of Africa.
And?
They offer very distinct services. Their meeting halls and all their hotels offer conference solutions that can help plan a perfect function for any occasion. They feature outdoor catering and provide services for any size event.
Keep going. You got me thinking now.
The beauty, the decor, and the views. It's the hotel experience you always dreamed of. They have up-to-date entertainment and a variety served at the fast food restaurant and snack bar. Oh, and don't even get me started on the garden bar or the nightclub. You would have everything you need within your reach without having to go out.
Wow. So what if I want to...
Cook? They got you, babe. The rooms are thoughtfully furnished with facilities that aid proper cooking, just like you would at home.
Where is this place?
And it's Sweets.
Wow.
So, will you marry me?
Yes. How can I refuse?
Not at Sweets, a colorful affair.
Following the incessant killing in the Benue State by suspected S-men, a senator representing Benue Northeast in the Senate, Barnabas Gemade, has called for the establishment of military base in the troubled area of the state. Senator Gemade made the call on the floor of the Senate when he raised a petition on the killing of his kinsmen. While speaking with journalists in Abuja, Senator Gemade said the crisis called for serious concern.
Now, it's a perennial issue. It's now a permanent issue where they are on the banks of the river constantly, nosing around to try and move into Benue State and take over the farms. And this is not happening just over a particular season where you know that, this is a hard season for herdsmen from arid, dry lands of Nigeria. So they're looking for where the rivers exist and where the grass is still fresh. It is a big problem, and we believe that it is an orchestrated matter which the herdsmen intruders, and as has been said, are coming from lands that are beyond the shores of Nigeria. We believe that this is an international problem compounded by the local Nigerian problem of insurgency in many places.
He explained that the establishment of military base in the troubled area of the state will go a long way to address the incessant killing.
The military, like I said, have always come out. The only problem is that the arrival is always late for the incidences. And if the arrival is late, the damage has already been done. And of course, once they know that the crisis is over, they go away. And then the people plan and strike again. So, but if they are there permanently, then the age of and the incentive of coming to strike will not be there anymore. And this is why we're calling for establishment of a unit of the military in one of those towns that would be proximable to the theater of killing, which is going on now.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has given the military service chief marching order to arrest the situation. In Abuja, Muyiwa Bamdele reporting. Reactions have continued to trail the announcement of 2019 general election timetable released by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Chairman of the Senate Committee on INEC, Senator Ali Ndume, says the early announcement of 2019 general election timetable was commendable. Senator Ndume told journalists in Abuja that the announcement made by INEC was in line with Senate Committee on INEC recommendations.
I want to commend INEC actually for starting ahead of time, and I will support it fully. You know, we had election that was widely acceptable in the country, and we are hoping that we are going to have a credible election in 2019, and I'm glad to be part of it. If nothing is being done about the 2019 election, definitely the election would be haphazard.
The senator also said that the National Assembly will ensure the Electoral Act amendment will be concluded before 2019 general election.
For Senate, we only have 2 clauses left. We have gone so far. In fact, I'm the one that I can say that I slowed the committee down to say, look, since we have to do it with the House of Rep, and the executive has formed a committee under the chairmanship of Nnamani to look at the electoral decision. Let us work concurrently, or let us make sure that we put our heads together to work collectively and concurrently, so that we'll come up with generally acceptable reform that will, take care of some of the loopholes. I think that by 2019, there must be a credible election. There must be improvement on what we have done.
It will be recalled that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has fixed 2019 presidential and National Assembly election for February 16, 2019. The governorship and state assembly election slated for March 2nd, 2019. From Abuja, Muyiwa Bamdele reporting.